Now y'all know goddamn well why would y'all set up Umar like this? Y'all know what was coming.
We present to you Rome Productions.
What's good, everybody? If you're a first time viewer of my content and of this video, like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be dealing with a video that I just ran across a few days ago, and this is an interview where this woman who goes by the name of Tammy, she's interviewing these two black men who are in interracial relationships, and she decided to invite Dr. Umar Johnson on her platform. So they're having like a panel thing, and she's asking the brothers about interracial dating, and I mean everybody know what was bound to happen when you have Dr. Umar Johnson on your platform. So we already know what was going down. I'm not going to show every single aspect of this video because it was over 20 minutes and I don't have the time to be doing all that. However, we will break down and go through the important things. I have my notes here, so we'll break down the important things that I felt like is needed to be said. So Mr. Freddie here, yeah, you see Freddie here? Tammy asked Freddie, why is interracial dating important? And this Negro says that it's important because this is a way in which you can build a bridge with other races of people, and this is how in which you can set the example and demonstrate and present how love can be demonstrated between a black person and a non-black person. And that when people see this example that him and his white wife set, somehow this will encourage other white people to be on their side, to be on black people's side, and receive and gain a sort of forgiveness.
So I'm going to ask you now, what are the misconceptions that you receive from people because you married a white woman?
You get the misconceptions that one, you only dating her because she's white or she's different from you. You know, exactly. You're trying to make kids that are lighter complexion. You get the misconception that, like Doctor said, you turn your back on your community, when in fact I feel it's the difference. I feel it's actually the opposite. You're actually embracing your community and trying to show them off in other atmospheres or environments where they may not necessarily get for other people to see. I think there's power in seeing an interracial couple walking together in love, seeing that. I think there's power to see that and where there's so much divide and racial tension going on now, to see love and to see two people in harmony walking together, I think that's healing for our nation.
Juicy over here said that interracial dating is important because this is a way in which you can break down this system or this dynamic where people are judging you based upon your skin color. And he emphasizes that love should not be based upon the color of somebody's skin. With all of this said, this was Dr. Umar Johnson's response.
Why should black people care about interracial relationships?
Black people should care about interracial relationships for three reasons. Number one, when we go outside of our community to select our mates, we undermine the importance of the traditional black family in the lives of black people, and in particular black children. If black boys don't see black men being committed to black women, they may be less inclined to do the same themselves. There can be no nation without first having a strong black family, and the traditional black family is under attack. And when we talk about interracial relationships in our community, we're overwhelmingly talking about black men. It is black men who marry outside of their race more than the men of every other race in this country put together as a percentage of their respective communities. 25% of all newlywed black men in this past decade, were married outside of their race, 25%. And although we have seen an increase in black women dating outside of the race, it's only up to 12%. So interracial marriage in the black community is overwhelmingly a black male thing. How can we turn our backs on our women, which is a form of turning our backs on our community? And without question, it represents turning our backs on our children. Working in the schools, one of the big questions I always get from black girls, third graders, fourth graders, and fifth graders is, Dr. Umar, what's wrong with me? Why is it that so many black men choose to marry someone who does not look like their mother?
And are you surprised? Great, I wasn't surprised either. And I agree 100% with what Dr. Umar Johnson said. So Miss Tammy asked Freddie if he felt like that he has turned his back on black women. This was his response, all right?
Frederick, you said you're in an interracial relationship. Have you turned your back on the black family?
No. How can I turn my back on my family? my family is a black family. I grew up in a black family. My mom is black. My dad's black. I'm black. I'm inherently black. That my choice to marry my wife that isn't black does not make me less black. You know, to think that the entire black community is going to perish because of a decision I made, I don't think that's a very, you know, that's a great, that's not very reasonable to say, if that makes sense.
Now, after Freddie says this, Dr. Umar Johnson emphasizes and breaks down how when black men date outside of their race, this is a portrayal towards black women, goes into the statistics of how black men are the most to date outside of their race out of any other race of men, yada, 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 etc., etc., etc. And so basically summarizes that with that we need each other. Black men and black women need each other because we reflect one another. We were put on this earth for one another. When you have a lion, you have a lioness. When you have a male tiger, you have a female tiger. When you have a male zebra, a female. So in order for you to hold down the black race, in order for you to hold down the white race, to hold down the Asiatic races, when you're dealing with all these aspects, you need two of the same in order for that particular race to reproduce and to prosper. When you have somebody outside of the race go on with somebody else, it doesn't look good for either one. The first law within nature is self-preservation. You're never going to see a red robin with a crow. You're never going to see a cat with a dog. It's just not, it's just the beauty in two people of the same race coming together is magnificent, because those two people not only love what they see in the mirror, but they want to reproduce that which they love. Now there's one part, and this was probably around like 8 minutes into the interview, and I'm gonna have the full interview linked in the description box below. Juice emphasizes that he doesn't have any responsibility for anybody other than himself and his actions. And that is something that I have said in previous videos as well. When it comes to us as black people, specifically when I talk about black men, and this goes into the whole scenario of holding yourself accountable for whatever the scenario may be, we're not responsible for anybody else other than ourselves and the people within our inner circle. And you know, within this particular point, and I don't agree with him in his stance concerning the other things concerning this whole basis around this interview, and that may sound disingenuous, that may sound dishonest, that may sound selfish. You might say that, oh, this is the problem that we have now. We always want to be for ourselves and be to ourselves and every man for himself type of mentality. But when you really look at it, and I've talked about this in many videos before, you know, I've made podcast episodes on this, that when you're dealing with the masses of black people, they just cannot be saved. So you have to find the like-minded black people and stick within them. You have to create your own pack, your own clan, and stick within them. After this, Dr. Umar Johnson emphasizes how interracial dating does affect the black economy, because all of the efforts of the black man and the things that he produces, and same thing and vice versa when it comes to black women, when they produce wealth for their family, they're not producing it with a black woman, and they're not producing it in terms of a black family foundation, you know. And in this whole dialogue, they talk about how, well, the children are still going to be black, right? But the thing is that these children aren't black. And that's an issue that I have when it comes to Dr. Umar's philosophy in some aspects, that even when it comes to a black man and a non-black person, that baby or that child will still come off as a black child. And you're still going by a dynamic that was created by your own enemy. That's not how the game works, and that's not how nature works in itself. That is a biracial, a mixed, multi-biracial, whatever you want to call it, but it's not black. You can't put two things that are different together and just because one particular side may have dominant traits, that all of a sudden the child is whatever the dominant trait is. That's not how it works. It's not like when somebody has blue eyes and somebody has brown eyes and then the child has brown eyes. No, you're putting two people who have different genetic backgrounds and they produce something that is completely different. They have two halves. You cannot exclude the other half just because of its recessive traits. Now, this is the funny part. Tammy asked how, or rather Dr. Umar Johnson asked Freddie, how does interracial dating and interracial couples and his interracial relationship personally, how does that change anything for black people, right? Because they're going back and forth, and Freddie was like, well, there's been changes. You know, things have changed for black people. And Dr. Umar was like, nothing has changed. How can your interracial relationship and what you have with that white woman have anything to do with the progression of black people? And then, this is what Freddie had to say.
Explain the change now, Dr.
I'm going to explain the change, Doctor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm not trying to do an overarching change. I'm changing one person at a time. So if you take one interracial couple and you take their family, if their family is, as you said earlier, all racist or inherently racist in some kind of way, they can see the love that that couple has, and that can cause those wounds inside them to be healed. That can cause them to actually start looking.
And he keeps going on and on and on, and is emphasizing that if we can show a black man and a non-black woman coming together, that we can change the hearts of racists.
Different. So white people are going to start being racist, stop being racist because they had a conversation with you because your wife is white.
No, I'm saying the families watching the love that an interracial couple have, the families of that Caucasian person.
And they're going to be changed. Their political and economic values are going to change because they see you loving on a white woman. Is that what I'm
talking about? Their heart. Their heart is going to be changed. That's where it starts from. It starts in the heart. If you can change a man's heart, you can change their family.
My brother.
I'll give him that point. If you can change a man's heart, if you can.
This is not about emotions. This is about power, economic and political control of resources and opportunities. Love has nothing to do with it. Sleeping with white girls does not reduce racial tension.
Cedric, do you believe it's about economic power?
No, I don't believe it's about economic power. I believe it's about just coming together and accepting and celebrating everybody's differences and finding that middle ground where we all can live in unity and just move forward together.
I just can't stand when black people feed into this narrative of this happy, happy, joy, joy, let's all get along. There's only one race, the human race narrative. I've made videos upon that basis of that topic, you know, years ago. I don't deal with the topic anymore, but I hate that because it shows you that this particular black individual does not understand the dynamic of the culture or society that he lives in. If you study Dr. Amos Wilson, you study Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, and if you have read The Message to the Black Man by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and if you study up on Malcolm X, you can understand plain and clear the society in which you live in. It's not all, you know, it's not a walk in the park. You know you have a slave-like mindset when you're trying to seek the validation of another set of people. If I get with this white woman, or if I get with this white man, if I can just put a big smile on my face and talk to them with respect and show them some love, maybe they love me back. Maybe if I crawl on all fours, maybe if I change up my tone, maybe if I dress a little better, maybe they can accept me. I hate that. I used to be that back in high school. I've been through that phase trying to please white people. I had to change my whole composure and who I was just to try and please them. Listen, you may have a good heart. You may want everybody to get along. Why can't we all just get along? But that's just not how the world works. The lion will always hunt their prey. Okay? Everything just not going to work in your favor. And you've been bootlicking for far too long. A lot of black people have been bootlicking for far too long. And where has it gotten you? You were just over here tap dancing for Biden. And where has Biden got you? Exactly. But love is love, Tyrone. Love is love. You don't even know what the hell that means. What the hell do you mean love is love? There's no such thing. There's no such thing as love is love. That's not even a concept. It's what y'all call a social construct. And it is socially constructed. Love is socially constructed. But within a culture. The culture defines what is love. And if you're defining love by another set of people within their society, then you might have some issues. See, in order for you to love somebody, you must see a reflection of yourself in them. And if you see a reflection of yourself in somebody that does not reflect you or look like you, you may have some, you may need to get out. You may need to get out. And I don't have anything against anybody who want to date outside their race and people who are in those type of relationships. You do whatever you want to do and do whatever you see fit. But you're not going to come over here and convince me that y'all are in love, convince me that this is something that I should aim my kids to do, or when I have kids, and it's something I should advocate for. The only thing I advocate for is for a black man with a black woman. And when you see black men with these white women and these non-black women, when you see black women with these non-black men, it really shows where they stand subconsciously and consciously when it comes to how they see themselves, how they love themselves, how they present themselves. Because if we've been growing up all our lives to see God as white, we've been growing up all our lives to see white people as superior, then to be in relationships with them, to want to build something with them, would even contribute to that ideology as well. You want to be creating children with white women. You want to be creating children with white men and non-black people, and yet you still see them as superior to you. Oh, no, I think we're all equal. You're still trying to fight for equality because you still see them on the top. You still see them at the top. You still see them as superior because you're still trying to aim for equality. That should never be the goal to begin with. A black person should never have in his mind to fight for equality. This means that they set the standard for how much equality and how much power you're going to get. That means that they're the standard in which power and authority that you're trying to get. That means they're the standard. And your enemy should never be the standard for how much equality or power or resources that you should be trying to get.
Well, take equality first. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad doesn't teach us to associate equality with whites. Equality has nothing to do with whites. We don't want to be equal with the white man. He's not the criteria or yardstick by which equality is measured. He's not in a position to tell us we are equal. It's not his right. It's not his to do. Equality, we want equality. We had equality before the white man was created. We had equality before the white man came into existence. And we want equality whether the white man is on this earth or not. Equality means the opportunity to develop all of our dormant potential, all of our dormant capability. And in developing this dormant capability, the right and the ability to stand on this earth on some land of our own and bring about a civilization and a society in which we will be completely independent, complete freedom to take care of the needs, to take care of the wants and the likes and the dislikes of our people.
You should be wanting liberation when you create your own standard. You create your own power dynamic. You create your... Nigga! You create your own power dynamic. But I won't even go all the way in on that particular topic. I've made videos on that, so I will have those linked in the description box below, and you will also see them at the very end of this video. Share your thoughts in the comment section below concerning the whole matters at hand. Who was right? Who was wrong? Are you siding with Dr. Umar, or are you siding with the swirlers? All right. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and share this video with other people. Until next time, I'm Tyrone, and I am out.
It's just me, myself, and I. Ride it, go low, hit me up, might not reply. Feeling focused, got my optics on the light. Feel on the prize, you compromise, go suicide. I pay the price, it's just me, myself, and I. Ride it, go low, hit me up, might not reply. Feeling focused, got my optics on the light. Feel on the prize, you compromise, go suicide. I pay the price, hey.